Hi guys, good morning again. This is Mónica. We are starting our second episode. We are going to enter the old city and know it in details, chapter by chapter. As soon as we get through this gate, Jaffa Gate, we will go back in time for about 3,000 years. Different periods, different times, and we will step on each of them and explain. It looks like tourism, at least local tourism, started coming back to Jerusalem. So let's go! Okay, we are entering the old city through Jaffa Gate. And the ones who have been here probably didn't see when they visited, when you get in, on your left, two tombs right behind the fence. The question is, who are buried here, and why? We will have the answer. You can pick your choice. I will give you many ideas, many legends, and you can pick the one you like. First of all, who are buried here? Though these tombs belong to the architects of the Jerusalem wall from Solomon's time. One legend says that Solomon killed them so they won't reveal the weakest, the vulnerable part of the wall. Other legend says that he killed them because they left Mount Zion outside the walls as a punishment, and he placed the tombs very close to the Jaffa Gate, so everybody will know what happened if you don't do things right. Another legend, a nicer one, is that they died normally and they were buried here because since Jaffa Gate is so popular, so Suleiman meant that everybody going in and out the city would honor them. And the last but not the least, is that Suleiman killed them because they didn't want them to build another wall like this one in the world. Just opposite of it, we can see a fortress. This fortress today is called Tower of David Museum, and it tells the story of Jerusalem. Let's stop by this map. This is the shape of Jerusalem, the old city of Jerusalem. As you see, and if you remember from the first episode, it's 1 square kilometers, about 3,281 square feet, and is divided in 4 quarters. The Armenian one at the bottom on the left. To the right, the Jewish one. Up on the left, the Muslim one. And up on the right, right, the Muslim quarter. So up on the right, Muslim quarter, and up on the left, the Christian quarter. You see one square, this one on my left, that I didn't mention now in the center of the picture. This is the Temple Mount. And the Temple Mount that represents the 10% of the old city doesn't belong to any of the quarters. We enter through Jaffa Gate that you can see here, and you see the Tower of David Museum right below the entrance. Well, we can see it's a little bit more crowded comparing to the first episode, but still nothing to compare to regular times. We still see Tower of David Museum, that if you want to know the truth, King David was never here. In fact, this fortress was built in the 1st century BC by King Herod. And this place didn't exist at all at King David's time. This is the entrance when you come for the Light and Sound show. This is the entrance you should go in. Okay, so now we are entering the Armenian Quarter. Each quarter has its own characteristics, and we will try to see all of them and point them out so you can understand. Look, we don't see doors at all. We only see windows and shops. This is because the Armenians used to be persecuted. Since 1917, since the Armenian genocide, they built their houses in a way that you can get to them only from inner patios. So in fact, in this neighborhood, you have only 2 streets that they lead you to inner patios from where you can enter the houses. Well, here we can see a shop. In fact, Armenian shops usually are ceramics, painted ceramics. This is their major work. You also may have some workshops where you can see with your eyes how they paint the ceramic, the pottery. Okay, usually the subjects of these paintings are birds, trees, and they are very colorful. Let's see a bit of the work. Every time you see this kind of pottery of painted ceramics is Armenian. You can see the Armenian flag, and also we can find Armenian restaurants in this neighborhood. For example, this Armenian tavern has at its entrance a very nice mosaic showing flowers, trees, yes, and usually vivid colors. As you see, we feel we are walking between walls. This is the main characteristic of the Armenian Quarter. You don't see houses at all. You have to go through only two main streets. Here we have one, if I'm not mistaken, is St. James one. Yes, St. James. This is one of the entrances. And you go in the Armenian Quarter, but you see that even here you have no doors. You have to go in between the streets to find out the inner patios, and from there the entrances to the houses. After we get out this tunnel, we will have their main church and convent, St. Jack. Here we are at St. Jack Convent and Church. You may ask why the Armenians have their own quarter if they belong to the Christians. This reason is very simple. The Armenians were the first people to convert to Christianism in the 4th century as a whole mass, collectively. So that's why they have their place of honor. They also were the first to settle down in Jerusalem. Okay? Here at the 4th century was a church, but it turns to burned out. Only 2 statues stayed in the inner patio burned. Probably one day we will be able to see them. Nowadays the churches are closed to the public. And this church we have in the inner patio today is from the Crusades time, 11th and 12th century. They also brought the printing here, books printing, to the Middle East and to the Promised Land. Up there is an Armenian museum, and the Armenian is the smallest quarter in the whole city. You have about 500 people, Armenians, living in it. We go through another tunnel, and very soon we will see again the Solomon wall at the back, at the very end. Still you can see only windows, not doors. We are walking towards Zion Gate, where we will end this second episode. And why there? Because there we will start our next episode. Before we leave the Armenian quarter, I would like to tell you a little bit more facts about the Armenians. They have their own alphabet, and if you remember Noah's story, when the ark stopped on a mountain, was Ararat mountain, that is placed in Armenia. The city hall had made some refactions, and they made a nice place to sit and take a rest during the very hot days. Here we are getting close to the Zion Gate. In fact, the Armenian quarter ends at the first corner after you enter through Zion Gate. Okay? So a little bit further, like 100 meters further, ends the Armenian quarter, and as you see, only shops are closed these days. So now, following the wall, we are going to go out Mount Zion, Zion Gate, to arrive to Mount Zion. As you remember, the architects, one of the legends is that the architects were killed because they left Mount Zion outside the walls. So to visit Mount Zion with King David's tomb, the Last Supper room, and the Dormition Abbey, we will have to go out the walls through this gate, visit the place, and then to keep on visiting the old city, we will have to enter again this gate that is a very unique gate. You will see next week why. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this second chapter. See you next week at the same channel, hand by hand, with Maya and Sharon from Israeli Box. Have a nice weekend and Shabbat Shalom.